one thing that we all played at least a little bit of that I'd like to talk about is the Outriders demo. This is Square Enix's next game. A lot of the same team as like Gears of War Judgment, right, Tyler?
Yes.
That's correct. Full game is out in about a month, but the demo started late last week. I think goes through this week at least.
Oh, does it?
I'm not sure if it's...
I thought it was just the weekend, but...
They still had ads on Twitter today saying you can play now, so...
Good for them.
So we'll see. You may not have a chance to play the demo, but we'll give you our impressions. I've been talking a while. Tyler, what do you think?
So I have notes here. Sorry, just a second. My impression, I guess, as we have played, I don't know, 2.5 hours of it. I mean, it doesn't take too long to get through it gives you the prologue mission, the character customization. It sets up the story.
Yeah, it's essentially setting up the story is what the...
And essentially gives you an idea of how to use everything, what the drop-in, drop-out gameplay feels like, all of those things. My impressions, an interesting story premise that ultimately loses its steam due to subpar gameplay and too many cutscenes. I think there's something here. Mm-hmm. You know, it is something that does have some good parts. I think their loot system's pretty strong. I think the idea for their story, like the sci-fi idea itself, is really interesting, but I think everything else is kind of like, yep, it's a game.
It's a game.
It has a bad cover system that it encourages you not to use, which to me is a really interesting marketing ploy. I mean, I don't know how marketing works, but I didn't think it worked that way. The abilities are cool, like in their idea, but their execution is just not great. The gunplay feels like generic gunplay in most any game.
I thought it felt almost exactly like Anthem's.
I think it feels a little better than Anthem, but I think it's because of the guns themselves, not because of the actual mechanic. I think the mechanic does feel... Yeah. I think I even said it the first night we were playing it. I was like, man, this kind of feels like Anthem. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's... I don't know. It's Anthem with a different premise, really.
Which is... I think it's crazy because the story similarities are... very similar.
I was gonna say, Luke, you're our resident Anthem.
I was the dude who liked Anthem.
Lore master over here. Go ahead and you know,
fire away, man.
So in Anthem, you go to an alien world, or you're on an alien world, and there's a storm that causes these anomalies and all these crazy things to happen. You have to go into it and you have to stop it. And it's the same in this. You go out into this world. There's a storm, and it's what gives you your powers.
Yeah, and instead of getting a sweet mech, you get powers.
Yeah.
But as far as the demo went, prologue was way too long. It takes like 30 minutes for you to decide your class. And
it takes like 40 minutes to shoot a gun.
Yeah, it's just a no-go for me. Like, first of all, just straight up, I should create my character and I should pick my class right away. And then I go through that little cinematic journey at the beginning, and then eventually you can start fighting people when you get your powers. But like in the middle of a cutscene, it pauses and it's like, read all these things and decide what you want. And I was like reading through them, and I didn't even really remember what I was doing. All of a sudden, didn't have a spear in my chest anymore. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm in the middle of this mud
wasteland. Yeah. You're in no man's land.
So just from strictly like a story, it's a really small thing, but just from like a story perspective, just cutting into that for so long was really off-putting. Yeah, guns, they felt whatever. Powers are really cool. But then you always have to wait for them to recharge, and that's always aggravating when you're at a low level. I'm sure it's improves throughout.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought all the classes sounded really cool.
Yeah.
I played as the Devastator. I had fun punching people and smacking the earth and making people explode. That was cool. But I think that was really the only thing that grabbed me. The world is bleak and brown. It's just mud everywhere. Which is so aggravating because in the cinematic opening, when you're just running around looking at the hyena cows, it's green and there's mountains and there's lightning. You're like, oh, I can do this, and then it's gone. It's
Well,
like, oh,
And there's half walls everywhere.
kind of like what Tyler was talking about. This game does the demo is essentially the prologue of the game. Like there's a prologue to the demo, but I think this is essentially the prologue to the game. As in, we're at this point we're going to start going out away. Ouch!
careful, child.
Hit my elbow. We're gonna start going out away from this area because I've watched a few other trailers, a few behind the scenes stuff, and there are different environments that you're gonna go to. But it's interesting for like a showcase piece for it to just be this like it's a muddy desert area.
Yeah.
It's just probably a limitation of how they're telling their story, not wanting to reveal too much. But this is a demo is marketing, so you have to measure that.
It's free marketing for us.
I do agree with you. Too many cutscenes, but within those cutscenes, something that really annoys me about Destiny is you get to hear your character talk, which I liked.
Yeah. And the voice actor chosen was pretty good.
Yeah.
Did you create a female?
Yeah.
The male voice actor is good.
Yeah, the female voice was really good too.
Yeah.
So I was glad I could hear myself speak.
Yeah.
So that was another thing I liked about it too. Unfortunately for me, I didn't get to play a lot. My sound kept cutting out.
Oh. It's a demo. There are bugs.
I thought
bound to be bugs.
I thought it might be my sound bar, but it just kept happening after I was unplugging and repowering, and then eventually my game just crashed, and I was like, well, I'm not really interested in this anyway. I just kind of played it so I could talk about it, so I just went and did something else.
There you
I
go.
never turned it back on.
Well, I probably played the most out of all three of us. I kind of, like you said, the comparisons to Anthem are pretty on the nose, and not in a bad way. Although I do think it does make the movement feel pretty poor.
Yeah.
In Anthem, the coolest thing about that was
the best part about Anthem.
You got to fly around. You could jump and dip and dodge, and
what about duck?
No ducking.
Okay.
Not
Quack,
gonna happen.
quack, mother lucker.
Actually, in this one, you do kind of do some form of ducking behind cover.
But you're not supposed to use that.
But it's interesting because it's a cover-based game, but the only way you get health back is by being near enemies you kill. Which is very Doom Eternal-esque.
The cover is for the enemies.
Yeah. Right. I don't know. So there's like these two kind of competing ideas because normally in cover-based shooters, you pop down, you pop up, you pop down, you pop up, but it just doesn't feel good because then when you take someone out that's even medium distance away, you don't get any bonus from that.
The first weapon I picked up was a sniper.
Oh, really?
As a Devastator, that's the most useless thing they could give me.
What annoys me so much about the cover system, like you're talking about, this has the people who assisted on Gears, which is a cover-based third-person shooter where the cover system feels good. And in this game, like I get into cover, I have to double tap A because I don't feel like it's responding. Then I jump over the wall, get hit with like 6 grenades.
Yeah.
Try to jump back over the wall. Don't get into cover again, so I get shot. I'm like, okay, A. And then I wait 3 seconds to get into cover. It just doesn't, it feels clunky.
It is clunky. I would agree with that. I think it could be polished quite a bit. Hopefully as we get more powerful, as you get better gear, maybe the cover system is a little less needed. But
yeah.
Who knows? I'll kind of also echo your comments on the classes. They're all pretty cool. I think there's some standouts. I think the Technomancer is really neat in their abilities to kind of create turrets. And
did you play as all of them?
No, not all of them. But my favorites were Technomancer and the Trickster.
Trickster makes sense. You love mage classes.
Yeah, the Trickster was fun to just kind of zippity zap everywhere. And,
Trickster is the coolest one in premise to me.
Yeah,
I think it's awesome.
Yeah,
you're basically a speedster.
And the other thing, this is definitely an RPG. The skill tree is pretty deep as well. You kind of choose in each class. In your skill tree, there's kind of 3 areas of focus, and you kind of build towards an area of focus with your skill points. And those can be restructured at any time, no cost, which is awesome. It's kind of like the artifacts in Destiny 2, but way more
bigger, way
complicated.
bigger.
Way bigger.
You can also change your look at any time.
Super nice. Because I got a hairstyle that I thought I would like, but it was a longer hairstyle, and it just clipped through all my clothing all the time. I was like, why would you even put... This is... Even my basic clothing it clips through, so why would I...
I got a hood thing with goggles. I looked exactly like Rey from The Force Awakens. Exactly. Like, even the face I picked, I think, was just Daisy Ridley's face.
The last thing I'll mention is, as you level up your gears, you get better gear. The gear comes with mods. And I think from what I saw and what I've looked out on the internet and seen, there's a pretty good variety of mods that really can make gameplay fun in good ways. Whether it's just recharging abilities faster, or increasing the area of effect of certain abilities, or giving you a shield every time you damage someone, which seems very overpowered.
That's ridiculous.
Sensing a day one nerf on that exotic.
Probably.
Is that exotic?
No,
it's a common.
It was a blue.
Oh no, blues! I hate blues.
What do exotics look like on that game then, or legendaries? Ooh.
If you hold your gun, you kill everybody in the room.
Dude, I saw some of the pictures online, kind of their legendary guns, and they are sweet.
They
looking.
are. It's
the aesthetic is great.
The aesthetic of this is very cool. It's very Hive or like Taken King from Destiny vibe is what it gives me. Is those kind of vibes, which I'm loving. So, I am probably gonna pick this game up. There's not too much out right now that's new. We should be decent ways into both the current season of Apex and Destiny, so I'll probably be itching for something new to play when this comes out, and I think that'll kind of feed that itch for a while.
Thank you for being the resident Outriders member for us.
Absolutely.
So this, I got to throw this in because, dead game and whatnot. This made me want to play The Division.
Mm-hmm. This made me want to play Anthem.
Right, 2 games.
But I want to play Destiny.
2 games. We played a good bit of Destiny Saturday. It's like two games that are effectively like, Division's not dead, but it's on its way. It's like 2 games that are dead. This game made me want to play that because like yours is Anthem, right?
Which is dead. We'll talk about that later.
But like everything that I like about The Division, Outriders includes it, but does it so poorly that it made me want to go back to playing The Division.
That is really what it felt like. Is like parts of Division, Destiny, and Anthem. Just not as good.
It's just not polished. Yeah. It just doesn't feel good.
They need that big first update where it kind of improves everything a little bit.
It'll be interesting to see what this game gets update-wise. It's not a games as service, so my guess is, other than some initial things to polish, maybe some systems, there probably won't be a ton of post. You know? So games that aren't games as service get updates all the time, but I'm just saying it's not going to be like a season-to-season update thing like it is in a lot of modern games. I think it'll be more of a, hey, we've made the cover system snappier. But it's not going to be, hey, we've completely redone the cover system.
We've removed the cover system. Please stop using it.
You can't get into cover.
We've actually added an exosuit you can get in and fly around the map.
I'm back!